All over our country, we are seeing acts of hatred every single day. Now it's behind closed doors. It's in professional businesses like Planned Parenthood, who performs over 300,000 acts of hatred every single year. Nevertheless, it might be sanitized, it might be out of sight, but it should not be out of our minds.
The federal government already funnels hundreds of millions of dollars to Planned Parenthood every year, so it should come as no surprise when it funnels your money to celebrate its founder. The Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery recently opened a new, federally funded exhibit that, according to the museum's curator, celebrates women who have challenged and changed America over the past century. Included in the list is notorious liberal feminist Margaret Sanger. The National Portrait Gallery website provides a brief description of Sanger, describing a concerned crusader who fought with the courage of a wounded tiger for the promotion of birth control. What the Smithsonian exhibit fails to mention, however, is that Margaret Sanger founded the largest abortion chain in the country, now known as Planned Parenthood. But the exhibit also fails to explain the racist ideology behind Sanger's promotion of birth control. Many people don't really know what eugenics is. Eugenics is defined as belief in the possibility of improving the qualities of the human species by discouraging reproduction by persons having genetic defects or presumed to have inheritable, undesirable traits. Essentially, eugenics is the creation of a master race by controlling who has children and who doesn't.
And who gets to decide who doesn't? Well, if Margaret Sanger had her way, she would define the rules. What were her rules? Well, it was grounded in a worldview, a Darwinian worldview, that said there are certain races of people, even though there's only one human race, certain races of people that are better than others. And what do you know? This hater named Margaret Sanger determined that people with a different skin color were not quite up to her white standard.
An article appearing in the January 31st, 1922 edition of the New York Times bore the headline, "Mrs. Sanger says Superman is the aim of birth control." If creating a race of supermen is the goal, who did Sanger believe had genetic defects or undesirable traits that stood in the way? In his book, Birth Control, Facts and Responsibilities, Adolf Meyer quoted an essay Sanger wrote in 1925, entitled, "The Need of Birth Control in America."
Birth control is not merely an individual problem. It is not merely a national question. It concerns the whole wide world, the ultimate destiny of the human race. In his last book, Mr. H.G. Wells speaks of the meaningless, aimless lives which cram this world of ours. Hordes of people who are born, who live, yet who have done absolutely nothing to advance the race one iota. Their lives are hopeless repetitions. All that they have said has been said before. All that they have done has been done better before. Such human weeds clog up the path, drain up the energies and the resources of this little earth. We must clear the way for a better world. We must cultivate our garden.
What's love got to do with that worldview? Absolutely nothing. You see, Margaret Sanger looks at these little faces and she sees weeds. We got to get them out of the garden so we roses can bloom. The Christian worldview is completely, talk about a 180 difference. We, the religion of love, say those people aren't useless weeds, they're imago Dei. And if they don't contribute as much as, say, Margaret Sanger, isn't it funny how the person with the power always writes the rules and comes up with the standards? We look at them and say, nevertheless, we love them. Furthermore, because Christianity is also the optimistic worldview, we say somewhere in that garden of weeds, somebody might actually come up with a way to make the gardens flourish in the future. We have hope that people will contribute something to make it better for everyone. Christianity, it is the worldview of love. Margaret Sanger, eugenics, Planned Parenthood Abortion, what's love got to do with those? Nothing.